Today we're diving into one of the most famous stories in the Bible, the wedding at Cana. You probably think you know it, but we're going to look at it through this really fascinating lens from the Eastern Orthodox tradition, and it reveals a hidden conversation that honestly changes everything.
So let's just picture the scene, right? You're at a wedding in ancient Galilee, the mood is joyful, everyone's celebrating, Jesus is there, his mother Mary is there, so are the disciples. It's a classic story, one a lot of us have probably heard a dozen times.
But what if there's more to it? What if, right in the middle of this familiar story, there's a huge puzzle, a contradiction that just doesn't seem to add up, but actually points to something much, much deeper going on?
Okay, let's get right into this puzzle. It all kicks off when the party is in full swing.
And then the party hits a snag, a big one. The wine runs out. Now you have to understand, in that culture, this was a huge deal. It was a major social embarrassment for the family. So Mary goes up to Jesus and she just states the fact. They have no wine.
And Jesus' reply is, well, it's pretty shocking. On the surface, it sounds incredibly harsh, almost like he's shutting her down in public. Woman, what does this have to do with me? It sounds like a hard no.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Look at what Mary does next. She's not upset, she's not discouraged, she's not embarrassed by his response at all. In fact, her reaction is the total opposite of what you'd expect.
She just calmly turns to the servants and gives them this command, full of absolute, unshakable confidence. Do whatever he tells you. She acts like he just said, "Of course, I'll handle it."
So there's the puzzle, right? This massive contradiction. He seems to say no, but she acts like he said yes. How is that possible? How could she be so certain? Well, the answer, it turns out, comes from a really beautiful and ancient source.
To crack this, we've got to look at some deep wisdom from the early church, which has been preserved in this really unique tradition.
The key that unlocks this whole mystery is found in what are called the Sidra prayers. Think of these as ancient, super poetic meditations from traditions like the Malankara Orthodox Syrian Church. They're just packed with theological insights passed down for almost 2,000 years.
And inside one of these prayers, which comes to us from the original Malayalam language, there's a translated line that completely flips our understanding of what happened at Cana. It gives us a totally different reason for why the wine ran out.
Okay, get this. The implication here is absolutely radical. The wine didn't run out by accident. According to this ancient prayer, Jesus caused it to run out. It was his gesture that emptied the jars, all to create the perfect stage for a miracle.
This one idea just turns the whole story on its head. This wasn't some random party foul that Jesus reluctantly fixed. No, this was a setup. It was a premeditated event.
So, you see the theological plan here, don't you? Step 1, he intentionally makes the man-made wine disappear. Step 2, this creates the perfect opening for him to provide something new, something divine. And step 3, this whole act becomes a powerful symbol of his mission.
And this is what it's all about. He's making a point. The wine of the world, it's temporary, it's finite, it runs out. But the divine joy that he brings, it's lasting, it's abundant, it's from God. It never, ever runs out.
So this brings us right back to our original puzzle, but now it's even deeper. If the miracle was planned, if it was all part of this divine strategy, then how in the world did Mary know about it?
And the answer, according to this Orthodox understanding, is that they were having a conversation the whole time. It just wasn't one that anybody else could hear. It was happening on a spiritual level.
So think about it like this. What the world heard was a dismissal. My hour has not yet come. Sounds like a no. But what Mary understood was a signal. It was the cue. It meant the hour is now. The plan is a go. Get the servants ready. This is why she was so confident. She wasn't ignoring him. She was responding to the real message.
And this wasn't just some one-time secret code. The teaching here is that this came from a lifelong, unbroken spiritual bond between them, a connection that began when Mary herself was being prepared by the Holy Spirit for her incredible role in history. Her spirit was just perfectly in sync with the divine plan.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, looking at it this way completely transforms the scene at that wedding.
This story is no longer about a son kind of reluctantly helping his mom out of a jam. Not at all. It's a coordinated, divinely planned event. It's the first public act of Jesus' ministry, and it stars two people who are in perfect alignment, communicating on a level that nobody else can even perceive.
The source material we're drawing from puts it in this really beautiful way.
Their connection was all about this true silence, not just being quiet, but being in a constant state of communication with God. They weren't just mother and son, they were partners in this divine mission.
And that really leaves us with this final amazing question to think about. If a story as famous as the wedding at Cana can hold this incredibly deep, hidden conversation, how many other stories that we think we know inside and out might have their own secret dialogue, just waiting for us to listen a little closer?